Hebrews 4:16. Go boldly in front of the throne of God, so that when the time comes, you'll have the stuff that it takes to really help people out when things are needed. Or something like that. And that's my paraphrase of that scripture. Phil's Oklafied paraphrase is what I'm calling it. Now, in the future, maybe I'll be a real preacher, but it's not a church, and I'm not a real preacher yet, and that's not a real sermon, but it could be a sermon. Just analyzing the word boldly, because that's something that it really takes to be a strong Christian. Boldness, being bold, just something really takes. But this is not a church, and this is not a sermon. This is a Whistling Phil vlog. So instead of actually talking about the word out of the scripture there, I want to mention what I said. It's a paraphrase. Phil's Oklafied paraphrase. P-O-P is what I'm putting that behind scriptures when I write scriptures. Whenever I quote scriptures, because I usually don't quote word for word from one of the recognized versions. From King James or New International Version or like New Living Translation or Bible people, there are certain ones that are really recognized. There's New King James, which was supposed to be more readable than the King James version. The King James version is the one that is quoted in a lot of churches, and there were like 900 or 200 or 100 there were a lot of translators that were translating at the same time under King James rule, and so it's supposed to be the most authentic English translation, arguably. But I'm not really academic, so I don't know the details of that, but I did study it at one point. But I'm writing a paraphrase, which is my point here, because this is a vlog about me and my relation to stuff. I'm writing a paraphrase because a paraphrase does never add any words, but it sometimes takes out words. We're not supposed to add or take from Scripture, right? And I agree with that. But I'm not taking from the word, the big capital W word. When I'm writing a paraphrase, what I'm doing is I'm taking out words, plural, the lowercase. They're semantic things. Little. You know what words are, duh. But to make it easier to understand, I'm saying Oklafied, because we'll use contractions like y'all and probably. I'm writing it in language that people like me can understand. Common guys who grew up in Oklahoma. It's a Midwestern type paraphrase for us Midwestern American folks. That's why I'm calling it Phil's Oklafied paraphrase. Phil, because I like to think that I'm a pretty important guy. I think, I'm gonna publish this as a series of books. Probably like the Gospels and the Psalms, and I'm gonna just paraphrase Scripture, and instead of writing like little reflections or sermons about the Scriptures themselves, actually rewriting the Scriptures. And then they're for study, of course. If Joe Blow wants to learn more about the Bible, he could read my paraphrase and compare it to the actual, a translation, a recognized translation. I mean, but I think having a paraphrase lends a little bit of understanding, and that's what the Bible really needs, because the Bible is really, really important, and it's dismissed by some people because they can't understand the words that are used. So I'm going to simplify it. And, people, some strict theological folks, some really religionists, will probably boo-hoo on me and probably get hate mail, but I'll probably get a lot of love mail. I don't know if that really exists, love mail, but if it does, I'll probably get a lot of love when I finish this series. I'm not doing it for love. I'm doing it for understanding. I'm doing it because we need the word. We all need the word.